Welcome to the Holistikal podcast. My name is Kerri, Vercellini, your host, and today we have a lovely new guest who's going to co-host a few episodes with us. Her name is Sasha Fassa, and Sasha, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am a sex, intimacy, relationship, and wellness coach and educator, as well as healing arts practitioner with a specialties of erotic blueprints and tantra. So essentially my business, Sacred Temple Arts, is all about the sacredness of the body as the temple and healing it and having a great life that is filled with intimacy and erotic aliveness. So I custom design programs for all of my clients to create their best sex and love lives so that they truly love their lives more ongoing. I really believe that age is not a factor in terms of your eros and intimate capacities for more expansion. I have had clients from the ages of 19 to 90.
Wow, that's quite a range.
Everything in between. I see individuals and couples, partnered or not. I help clients also with alternative relationships that may be more polyamorous or other types. It's really about what is your best sex and love life, not what the traditional expectations are. But if you want the traditional, that's wonderful too. It's everything, again, in between and both sides, both extremes. So that's kind of how I roll in business and life. I'm located currently in Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is a lovely coastal town where lots of clients like to come and take a little vacation for a weekend and see me, kind of thing. I also work virtually all over the world. I can create programs that have both aspects, immersions in person and also virtual sessions. Oh, let's see what else. You don't see me every week because my programs are intensive and they provide home play programs in between every session of practices and resources based on your particular learning style to give you all that you need to integrate and to continue to be constantly learning and expanding in the practices, in the wellness recommendations, and intimacy practices with yourself and your own body, those with your partner, that kind of thing. So generally it's once a month. And some clients that are retired and have more time, or if sometimes if I have clients that are really in trouble or stressed, there will be maybe twice a month, but generally my sessions are 3 hours in person, 2 hours virtually, once a month in these longer term intensive programs that I guarantee at the end of, you will have a sex and relationship education better than 99%, far greater actually, than 99% of the population, if not more.
Mm-hmm. And that's because we really just don't get taught much in our culture, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, and any extra credit is going to really take you a long way.
Yeah. And it's actually, most of the education is, it's backwards and it's intentionally that way.
Mm-hmm. So, we'll talk more about that as the episodes go on, I am sure of that. So I know I've personally known you for a while, colleague-wise.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share with others a little bit more about kind of your background of how you got into the work that you're doing now and what makes you so passionate about what you're doing now.
Yeah. It's a passionate story. I mean, I started out, when I was young, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian because I loved animals so much, even more than people. And that was my plan. And then I realized that involved a lot of nasty things they didn't want to do, that and that I faint at the sight of blood. So that for certain types of blood, I was like, that's not going to be a good career choice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then I got into psychology. Even in my teens, I was fascinated around multiple personalities and different disorders, right? So I started out at University of Vermont planning to become a psychologist, decided that I didn't like all the labels. There was too much labeling. There was too much that wasn't working for me. So eventually I switched to early childhood education, thinking that that would be a good choice. And I did that until I worked in a daycare center for my internship and realized I absolutely hate this and these children should be with their parents. It just wasn't a healthy environment, so it really turned me off, especially at how young they were. So then I went into, I was, it's Vermont, so I became, and I was a hippie environmentalist kind of thing. So then I went into environmental studies and eventually environmental education and so forth. But anyway, so I had a massive life crisis. My father died and I was only 20 years old. I did not finish my degree, my multiple studies of degrees in these fields. I left UVM. I had a healing crisis that created in me a severe passion, need, desire to study everything that was holistic, wellness, and beyond the physical, the spiritual realms, which I had not done before. And so I began my journey there. Now it's been 30 years almost that I have been accumulating certifications in different healing arts. I have over 30 certifications and things that I do in the wellness field as well. And I was deeply in the spiritual schools and different types of philosophies, especially the New Age kind of stuff. I'm no longer in that realm. I'm much more grounded and practical in the different type of way with my connection to prime consciousness or whatever anyone wants to call it. I do teach Tantra still though, but I teach Tantra as what is Tantra to you and how can you interweave this into your life instead of trying to imprint ancient teachings or certain ways of doing things through tantric schools to individuals. I took my first tantra class when I was on this path in my early 20s. I was only 22 and I was first started my certifications in tantra and intensives. So it was all of this holistic work. Eventually I went to Lesley and finished my undergrad in holistic studies. My focus there was on healing. All of this is my healing path as well. So, right, this evolution. So my focus at Lesley was empowering adolescent girls, right, around sexuality, but also body image, shame, traumas, healing sexual trauma, through a holistic means of storytelling through goddess culture and history. And I wrote goddess stories and that was my dissertation, but I did all of this holistic work and it was really healing my inner adolescent girl that had been so traumatized in these different ways. And of course, that's leading more into the sexuality piece, and the female sexuality and awakening and healing ourselves. Then I did at Goddard, master's degree in health arts and sciences. And in between all of that as well, became certified, advanced certification in Source Tantra, did all this different Tantra trainings to become a Tantra teacher, Planned Parenthood to become a sex educator, Alison Armstrong's work and other types of work for relationship curriculum, and still continued to do all the different healing arts from essential oils to flower. I've been a flower essence practitioner, flower and gem essence practitioner and consultant for 25 years. I started that early on. Still use it all the time in my practice. It's part of the healing wellness arts, of course, but it also really can have great impact on intimacy and relationships, of course. I love ACEP. I was a Reiki master back in my early 20s. I did clinics locally. I practiced Reiki and did Reiki stuff for a decade. I still do Reiki, but I actually prefer access consciousness and some other modalities that I call intuitive energy and body work that I incorporate into sessions for those who want energy work distance-wise or hands-on healing in person, a combination of both. I take a breath. Let's see. It all comes back to with my interest in psychology, and especially abnormal psychology, as we would call it, right? And people that were having multiple personalities or things like that. Well, I've always been an entity-aware person, and I thought it was a curse. And when I say entities, I mean spirits, those that are not in bodies, which is a very real thing that our culture also doesn't give us an education about, that we desperately need to be healthy and whole individuals. So I have a specialty with that always comes in interesting ways to help others in sessions. What else? Am I missing any pieces? There's access consciousness. I'm certified in the bars, but I also do some body processes. I do one that's called energetic facelift. So you can throw out your Botox and try something different. That's pretty amazing. I also work with a lot of times with energy and body work on scars, because a lot of women have had hysterectomies or cesareans, or just in general, a lot of people end up not having certain body parts and scarring from this, being in this lifetime and experiences. And so it's important to do energy and body work for those scars to actually heal on a really deep level. For overall well-being.
So along those lines, I just want to explain for people who may not be aware of why that's important, because we have energy in all of our cells, right? So when we sever the energy channel also needs to be reattached, not just the physical skin and so on, right?
Yeah. What I teach is we're energy primarily. Physical body is just the lowest density of all of the other bodies, that we're pure consciousness before matter. So absolutely. And so if you have a physical issue, we can throw essential oils we can throw different things at it to treat the physical symptoms, but what's underneath it. And that's what I love about the holistic modalities that we do, because it is these more natural remedies like essential oils, flower essences, homeopathy, and so forth. They do work on multiple layers of the energetic bodies as well as down into the physical. So there's quite an extreme difference between taking an aspirin for a headache and taking a drop of peppermint oil, therapeutic grade only, in terms of how they can affect the whole system, right? Different levels.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I teach people to live more orgasmically and more organically, and I'm a huge proponent of more organic orgasms.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what drives your passion in all these things that you've talked about, even with the teens, what you're doing now today, as opposed to what you were doing originally? Where's the passion kind of coming from?
At first, it was strictly just for survival for myself, right? And then the more I got into all of it, I realized, wait a minute, I have talents and gifts here. This is my path. And I love doing this. I love giving and receiving and playing with all of these different types of modalities and healing. And so what was, my biggest wound became the medicine, which became the career path. It really chose me. It was an interesting experience to have this entire download one day in the bathtub, which is where I experienced my greatest ideas.
Water is the conductor.
Deep in the bathtub with tons of oils and salts, maybe some crystals as well. And all of a sudden it was like Sacred Temple Arts. Sasha's Sacred Temple Arts will incorporate all of what you've done, because I felt like I had to go one path, but that's not me, because my whole life I've been someone that's on multiple paths. I'm a lifelong learner. I am needing to do many things at once in terms of creation. And basically I just realized that, you know, I'd done so much healing and become so embodied and so much healthier and alive and conscious. I also was an extreme druggie for a while and massive addiction issues where by the time I was at college, I felt like I had fried my brain, literally, with acid, coke, and all kinds of things. And through meditation, and through orgasms and all this healing, I had these expansions of awareness and consciousness. I felt my nervous system healing, rewiring, you know, neurologically, all these changes that happened, including becoming more embodied and healthier that way, healing chronic back pain, healing menstrual cycle issues, right? That had been chronic since I was 12 or whatever, and put on, of course, birth control pills, which never worked for me as well in terms of how they affected my body. And birth control actually can have some very negative effects. Scientifically, the research is out there now in terms of how it affects the brain. So we need ways to heal. And it was just simply, as I'm doing it, the passion is to, well, I want to help others. I want to help all my sisters. And it really was at first, I only want to work with women mostly. But at the same time, I was doing my own work around understanding men with Alice Armstrong's curriculum. If anyone doesn't know who she is, she's absolutely amazing. You will want to. And I realized how much I loved men and that I could heal all my unhealthy relationships and abandonment issues from my father dying, that I could heal these and that other people would benefit from the knowledge and wisdom that I had gained through this journey again. So yeah, Sacred Temple Arts now is evolving more as well, because the original logo was the goddess arising from like the second chakra, the moon type of thing, and a very sensual embodied goddess at that. And actually now it's a heart with a couple in it. Because I have found the partner that I've been desiring to come into Sacred Temple Arts, bringing the embodied masculine who has all these healing arts to link up with me. So it's 20 times greater. That's kind of where part of what we're doing now, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Great. So if I'm just thinking of some people out there may not really, as soon as they hear like some sort of business that's working with sexual stuff, there's a lot of like, like, what does that mean she's a prostitute? There's like, so explain.
Nothing against prostitutes or sex. Totally nothing against that. Totally not against any of that.
So explain the difference between you and what somebody might assume.
Great question.
Yes.
Great question. Well, first, I didn't become a sex therapist, and I am not a sex therapist because sex therapists cannot put their hands on people. And I was already too far into all the healing arts that are hands-on, including neo-tantric work of sacred spot massage and other things we're going to talk about, that I was like, okay, we can't do sex therapy. So where do we go? Oh, sex coaching, sex education, right? Sex intimacy, relationship, these three things together. So that I can, again, it's really pretty difficult to describe in a way because I'm three things in once at least, right? So like you'd hire a sex educator or you'd hire a sex coach. I'm both. And then you've got the healing arts practitioner as well. So, and the wellness and healing arts and Tantra and so forth. So my sessions are a combination of coaching and education. That's usually the front part of the session, of each session. Although every session's organic. So, you know, some might be all energy and body work and vice versa. But then...
And when you say body work, what do you mean because that's
Yeah.
also very important.
Thank you. Any and all of my healing arts that the person might need, desire, want for that session.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be access consciousness bars. It could be an access consciousness body session. It could be just my intuitive energy work. That's a combination of different touch, light touch and healing on the body, massage, with essential oils. I do a specific type of healing, aroma touch, which is from doTERRA. My partner offers Young Living's raindrop technique. We work a lot with essential oils. I have all kinds of healing tools at my disposal in my office, and I'm always gaining more. So I have something called an iTerra wand that works on the body. I do crystal layouts on the body. It is there are so many, I do a whole modality called unlimited body. So it's a combination, and also Tantra. So if we're doing Tantra practices, right, that's going to be at whatever level the person is comfortable at in their program working with me. But I do not have sex with my clients. I am not a sex surrogate. I actually thought about becoming a sex surrogate. And was offered to join a school and to become a sex surrogate. But for me, I just have a certain energy around one-way touch and certain types of interactions of intimacy that I teach, erotic massage, sensual massage, things like that. That works for myself and my partner. Going beyond those boundaries with others as clients is not what we're trained in, and it's also not it's not what we would choose, right? So there's a very strong boundary around that.
And when clients think they're going to come to work with you, and they're like, especially, for some people who might have some insecurity stuff going on around partners, so on and so forth. And I believe one of the questions that come up a lot is like, are you going to touch my partner? And what happens in that dialogue that comes up?
Well, we always have full boundary, fears, desires, consent conversations. So I'm only touching someone's partner if everyone's agreed for me to touch the partner, right? It's there's always the veto. How I work with couples is there's always the veto vote from your partner of whatever is going on, right? And there's always there's so much that we do ahead of time that creates, I hear over and over again, it's amazing how safe you made us feel. We feel so safe with you, right? And I also work with the blueprints, which we'll get into more, the erotic blueprints at a different time, but it's essentially how people are erotically wired. More often than not, I get clients completely differently wired, right? So I'm going to work with the one that has to go slower, right? And needs different, like slower and a different level of things than the other one who's ready to go, right? We're always going to go here to get anywhere else. And work very differently to balance and help both in different ways, if that helps. Yeah. So it's a wonderful field to be in. I'm actually in quite a few different fields. So it's a combination of that, which is why the Sacred Temple Arts really helps as the overall thing.
And as far as the sexual focus, you do a lot of structured home play. Explain what your home play is.
It's going to be different every time for every person. I spend 1 to 2 hours, usually 2 hours, creating my custom home play programs after their sessions. I take all the information of what we learned, plus clients do an extensive questionnaire before they work with me. So I'm laser focused on their health challenges, what's going on here, traumas they had here. I look at birth trauma. I look at everything, right? And create a comprehensive plan to help with whatever is needed here to get them from where they are to where they want to be, right? In a fun and pleasurable way as well. Everything we do is pleasure-based in my business. So their home play is play, not work, right? It's going to have videos, books, audio, depending different learning styles as well, right? It's going to be titrated to their lifestyle of how much they can handle doing. It's definitely going to involve self-pleasure practices because basic health and wellness to me. So a lot of times they get questions of, well, how do you should create a separate website for your wellness business and your healing arts. And it's like, no, because sexuality is a key component to all of them. So I'm not going to teach just a wellness program and leave sex, intimacy, and relationships on the side like they're not part of the most important aspects of your health and well-being on this planet. They just simply are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk,
go ahead.
Holistic practitioners like you and I, we understand that.
Right.
But our culture, and maybe you can give a little bit more insight onto this. Like, why do you think our culture puts such a taboo on self-awareness when it comes to sexuality and all of that?
Yeah. Well, this may be controversial, but I'm pretty controversial. I will say straight up that this society, this world, the way it's structured, is about creating good slaves and consumers. Good consumer slaves. There is a pyramid here with some people at the top, and then there's the rest of us mostly down here. And those of us down here are not going to be empowered or kept or given healthy food easily or not have toxins in everything, right? Your sexuality, your sexual energy is your life force energy. It is consciousness. It's connection it's connected to the divine. If you want to call something like that, you can see it as you're a cell in the body of the earth, connected to nature. Look how sexual nature is. Prolific, abundant, juicy, right? That's how we naturally are. And then when we get programmed through school, through bad sex education, through porn, through all kinds of different
religious beliefs, parents' expectations,
it goes on and on. We lose the innate energy of when you were a kid and you jumped out of bed because life was awesome and every day you felt great, right? There was some point in life, most of us had an experience like that. And then what's now? It's like, most humans on the planet are not waking up, jumping out of bed like, woo, let's go, right?
Yep. My toddler still is. But
yes.
I am not.
Going, right? You need more orgasms. Diet more orgasms, Kerri. I'm giving you a prescription for an orgasm a day. You can tell your husband.
Will do.
But seriously, try it for 7 days and notice how different you feel.
I will report back to you.
It's your home place, Simon, for the week. Orgasm a day keeps the doctor away too. Not necessarily just apples.
Yeah, right. So I also want to go back to something you mentioned a couple of times. So you've talked about Tantra being a big part of what you do. And somebody who's only heard of Tantra in the cultural way that we have in the world. So to most people, from what I understand, Tantra means Kama Sutra. And it does not.
One form.
It's one form.
Taoist form.
So I would love for you to explain a little bit more about Tantra and what it's all about truly, that it's not just the Kama Sutra, that's just one part of it. For people to understand a little bit better.
Tantra has been it's a philosophy, it's a practice, it's been a religion. There's so many different sects, there's so many different types. I am mainly versed in Neo-Tantra, but I have studied back a lot of the traditional lineages, but not as intensely practiced as much as Neo-Tantra, because I like bringing things into the modern age of what works now. But my perspective is that Tantra actually has always been on the planet. If you consider, Tantra is actually a branch of sacred sexuality, right? Now, the first time I saw the word sacred and sexual, I was deeply confused.
Okay.
At the time, I was in a meditation school with a bunch of women 20, 30 years older than me. I think there was like one guy, right? And the women were like seeing how great it was that they didn't have any desire for sex any longer, that they were so spiritual. You get so spiritual that then you don't need sex. That is such a crock shit. And a lot of these women, including my teacher, ended up very ill, actually. It was interesting autoimmune and other things that were happening because there's a real imbalance to just doing that the whole time in a female body that is designed for orgasms. So anyways, going
female
back.
versus male more? Female more designed for orgasm?
Yes, females are designed more for pleasure. Now, this is not a popular opinion, but I do believe that female vulva owners are innately, organically designed for more pleasure in how their brains work and how their bodies are designed. And phallus owners are more designed towards purpose than pleasure in their bodies.
Okay.
So that we can have more conversations in another one about that. But, I believe that actually from the very beginning of time in our history, which has been rewritten many times, which is another controversial opinion I have. But, okay, I did study the ancient goddess cultures, right? Okay, they were practicing Tantra. They were nature worship. They had big vulvas everywhere, right? They worshipped the feminine, creative, sexual life force, right? Well, then you have other Tantra that comes out later that is the Hindu or the Taoist, and there's especially the Hindu, huge focus on the worship of the feminine, right? The worship of, now it's called the yoni, right, for Sanskrit, which means sacred space. Wouldn't it be amazing if as little girls we were taught, instead of a vagina, that we had a vulva, which is accurately the accurate description, and if it was a sacred space. Yeah. So ancient goddess cultures, that's where I was first finding this like sacred sexuality stuff with the Tantra. I have studied both Taoist and Hindu Tantra, but mostly my major schooling is in the Neo-Tantra school that was based on more Hindu. Actually, there was a lot of Taoists there too, and eventually my teacher, Charles Muir, did go to teach in Thailand with the Taoist master who is still alive, Mantak Chia. So then I was also unaware at the time that I was learning about Tantra through these meditation schools I was in, because I went with a group to the Kali Chakra initiation that the Dalai Lama does for 11 days. I don't know if he still does it, I assume, but here I am at this Buddhist meditation, chanting and so forth for 11 days. And this was actually right before it was right after I had gone to a tantric workshop and gotten totally triggered because it was like a major orgy and I was really young and it was very psychologically like, whoa, what just happened? So then I ran off to sit with a bunch of monks at the Dalai Lama's feet. This is the kind of extreme I mean that I just try to naturally go to, right? But Tantra is about the polarities of the extremes, right? And being able to be in the yin and the yang. And do
yin being feminine, yang being masculine.
To be able to play with the different energies of life and do it as a dance and not to necessarily avoid anything. True tantrics of certain lineages, they go and meditate and have sex in the graveyards and where the people where bodies are being burned, right? It's death practice as well. It's not being afraid of death, not being afraid of birth, being in all of the in-between. And being present in each moment, right? So there's many different forms, many lineages. Back to the Buddhist one, I got this at that Kali Chakra initiation, right? And so I'm like, wow, so even the Buddhists are having sex, even though they're celibate. But see, this is a depiction of the quintessential tantric position of yap yum. That's not meant to be an actual woman. That's the feminine energy. This is the Buddha practicing tantra, but it's white tantra. White tantra is where you're practicing in your own body with the spirit of the divine, of God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, Shakti, Shiva, Buddha. Whereas the red tantra is where you're focused on sexually connecting with another being and doing those types of practices, right?
Gotcha.
I've studied both. I teach all my clients both. I believe it. If you just teach red tantra, it can go too dark, and there needs to be the balance of the white tantra practices with it.
And how do they differ? Obviously, red would be very sexually,
you're
mechanically involved.
That would be a woman on his lap then. Red tantra. White tantra is making love with the spirit and the energy instead.
Oh,
right?
okay. Gotcha.
So the tantra I teach is doing both. Have your goddess on your lap and be making love to her physically, and at the same time, both of you are totally tapped into the earth, to your whatever is your divinity, and you're running those energies up and down the chakras together to create more consciousness and more enlightenment. So this brings us back to your sexual energy is the most untapped resource on this planet, and it's being affected every day and killed off very directly by everything in our world right now. So it might be time to realize when you see a statistic like the average 22-year-old has a testosterone of like a 60-year-old from the 70s at this point, because testosterone levels are so low, and I see it in my practice all the time. That's a real problem on this planet. It's a real problem. And look at the fertility issues for women. It just goes on and on, right? So
it sounds like your perspective is that if people were fully embodied in their energy, in their sexual energy, then they would be much more powerful and therefore threatening to the powers that are above us.
Absolutely. And they would be more conscious. They would be healthier. They would have more life force. They would be less likely to enjoy sitting in a cubicle all day. Their bodies would move more. There would be happy homes where couples were having lots of sex and enjoying life, and and it would just be a totally different world of something much greater and better. You wouldn't be drinking alcohol and consuming like viciously, like the way that people do if you are having more orgasms and having the practices of these things, right? So, and I'm not saying to like be harsh on anyone. Part of, Tantra too is that sometimes you can either be a no substance thing, or it can be sacraments, which means you do drink wine or have a little of something to play with your, to increase arousal. Right. So the tantrics at times they had pujas, they were pretty much like all in these very constricted kind of lifestyles, and then they would get together and they'd have these feasts where they would have meat and wine and overindulge in
like gluttonous,
and big orgies, but it was all like in celebration and
in a container, right? They would contain it into a certain time.
So it's
interesting.
So much I can say about Tantra. I will add in a disclaimer here of I'm not involved with Tantra communities for much anymore. I've seen that there are a lot of ads out there that are increasing around people that are claiming to teach Tantra, and they don't know shit, and they don't have any kind of, they're not trauma informed in any way. They don't have any other background in sexuality.
They're not practicing ethically.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's just sex work, which isn't bad, but it's dressed up as Tantra, and it's not. So I'd just say if you're interested in Tantra, I do offer a free video consultation for clients so they can understand what all the things I do are and what might be best for them. So that's something people can sign up for on my website. And then, we can find out what would be the best way for you to learn Tantra. And if not through me, if you live someplace else and, guide you somewhere. But it's, yeah, all of these fields also, everything has its shadow side. So
it sounds like you're very aware of the trauma, that a lot of people go into or experience throughout their life as it relates to sexuality. So can you explain to people what makes it so important for you to address and hold space for that for people?
I was really naive and was taken into different cults. I didn't know at the time that they were cults, spiritual and sex and otherwise. And these were like supposedly legitimate schools, right? They're not like, there's so much now that's coming out around different schools and yoga people and gurus and so forth, right? There's a shit ton on Netflix about all of this. But so I'm also all about empowering you to know that you're your own guru.
I have the same belief. Yep.
Your sexual energy and your connection to your body and to your life and so forth. This is all the most important piece, not to be going out and constantly in a place of external validation and anything that's even with trauma work, right? For me, it's about the body relaxing enough to release trauma on its own in its own timeline, right? Which is what I learned to do. If I had healers trying to force my body into some type of trauma release, or even therapists that would say, oh, well, let's look back 30 years, for 50 sessions to figure out who did what to you. Okay, that's really a messy scenario, right? What if your body knows how to heal itself? And then if you just relaxed more and cleared some of the things out and maybe changed them, had some more orgasms and fun, your body might actually just start to unwind and release more, right? And then if you need, it's great to have a practitioner, a trauma-informed practitioner that can assist you with that practice. Right?
And going slowly into it, right? Especially if you've had trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't believe in like we don't go at the trauma, right? We let the body start to get healthier, and then it has to start to unleash the traumas to do that, right? The body knows how to heal itself. It's the ultimate healer. And part of what I teach is, are you listening to your body? Do you ask questions of your body? You have to like make best friends with it. So I also, part of what I teach, your primary relationship is not your husband or wife or whatever. Your primary relationship is your body, right? And if you don't have a healthy relationship truly with your body, forget it. You're really not going to create that externally. There's always going to be more issues around that. And your body will get louder and louder as you get older. You can get away with a lot when you're younger. And then as you get older, your body's like, well, I think we've had enough of this. And I'm going to scream at you until you listen to me. Right? And you can medicate me and you can do surgeries and you can do certain things. But if you're not addressing actually what's underneath all of that, that body's just going to keep screaming until it decides it doesn't want to be here anymore.
So your statement of, you have to look in yourself first, do you think that's synonymous with the statement, the adage of you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else? Is that the same thing or is it different?
I do believe that. And I've seen it in myself that when I was still like, I thought I loved everybody, but I hated myself. I hated my body. So the love I had that was out in the world with others was not the level of love that I have now. That's a totally different, deep, wide, embodied energy that holds so much greater and has such greater capacity for true intimacy, right? with partners, with my cat, with my friends, with my colleagues, with anybody, right? With my clients. And I'm so grateful because, you know, when I say like best sex and love life, and again, it's because you'll be loving your life. My life's been really hard, and it still continues to be in some ways. But once you find your passion and how to have all the orgasms you want to have and how to heal yourself on a regular basis and keep yourself pretty healthy and like doing well, everything changes. And that comes from self-love. It comes from a willingness to be like, I want to care for this body and myself because I want more for everyone. Right? And women get caught in the programming of this reality and the trap that they're selfish if they put focus on themselves. Right?
Yep.
I mean, all my female clients, but isn't that selfish? We can't put so much attention on me. And, right? Now, there's different levels. You can be a toxic woman and completely selfish and self-centered and, you know, screwing up all your relationships. And that probably came from things that happened to you and can be changed as well. You know, I've been there. Right? But there's also the energy of, again, taking care of putting on your own oxygen mask first. Right?
Yeah. Now, I know you've talked about blueprints, which we'll talk about more in detail at another time. I'm not sure if we'll have it in this one or not. But I wonder, being a therapist, something that I recognize a lot for people with relationships in particular is the challenges around attachment issues. And I was curious if you address any of that in the work that you do. And if you do, how
100%.
so?
So 3 foundational pillars in every single program at the very beginning are going to be 1, love languages. 2, erotic blueprints, how you're erotically wired. 3, attachment styles. All my clients, like they take for home play, they do quizzes, they give me the results, we discuss. If you're an insecure attachment style, how do you learn to become a secure attachment style? Do you even want to, right? Do you even want to? And if you're in a relationship or multiple relationships, right? Or have different people in your life that you're in an avoidant attachment with an anxious avoidant or different types of attachment style relationships that are very difficult. For me, it makes me so angry that if they taught attachment styles back in middle school when it should have been, okay, I would have understood that I was anxious attachment style and I would not have consistently fallen into relationships with avoidant attachment
partners
over and over. And I didn't even know what secure looked like from my traumas and so forth. Then I got so traumatized, I became the more traumatic style of anxious avoidant. It has other names as well, which I don't like the labels of them pretty much, but there's some better ones that we could call them, which are Brianna McWilliams, I believe, is the one who taught me this. So it's secure attachment style. Think of it as the cornerstone, the foundation, right? And then the insecure attachment styles would be anxious, open heart, and avoidant is the rolling stone. Yeah. So just to give a little bit just piece on that, but yes, I absolutely teach that because once I learned about these attachment styles, it was like, what? Same with love languages, same with blueprint. Oh, this changes my whole reality in such a positive way to have this education. So important. So like entity education.
Yeah.
So important, so core and vital to our very being of how to live on this planet and do any relationship. So essentially, you know, now I've learned how to become secure attachment style, right? And I noticed in the new relationship I'm in, he's secure. I get triggered back into my anxious. at times. And I'm recognizing that that is just the core wiring. So I have to do the work to get back over to secure again, right? But it's totally possible. Totally possible.
And for those who don't know too much about attachment styles, where they come from, in the therapy work that I do, I have learned over time that they are very much family oriented, from your first caregiving experiences to how you were raised as soon as you were born, how sometimes even before you were born, in utero, how your mom's body was taken care of, the energy that she was in, and how all of that then impacts how you come out, in your energy, and then afterwards, caregiver wise, how you were treated, if your needs were met very well, very quickly, so on and so forth. And then that all then creates how you interpret mentally, psychologically, safety within other people that you're supposed to be able to trust.
Great explanation. Yeah. And it can also, life traumas can change attachment styles, just like blueprints and love languages and so forth. And bodies change over time, chemically, energetically, hormonally. But in general, it is that core from the first time in. And I'll even say that I think that there's this society creates insecure attachment from the way they do birth in hospitals, cutting that umbilical cord when it shouldn't be, when the baby needs the stem cells, taking the baby away from the mother, which they don't do as much. Still, they clean up, they do things. And then don't even get me started on the genital mutilation issue that still continues of so-called circumcision, which is genital mutilation. That is an immediate trauma.
That creates a sexual trauma, right?
Yeah,
for men.
But also it's a trauma of, I just came into this world as a little baby, and what do you do? What do they do? This is like a massive
Why are they hurting me?
Trauma in the body, right? Even if you don't have scar tissue, even if you're a man and you're like, it never impacted me, it did. Psychologically, it did. It's in there, There's a place that, because it just should never have happened, You're missing 20,000 nerve endings, possibly. That's some of the research, right? You're missing a vital part of your system, and you didn't have a choice about it. Right? But we could do a whole podcast on that. Yeah. People probably wouldn't enjoy that. Should stick with some lighter topics, even though that one is important to always address.
Yeah. And I know you said that you work with lots of people from different ages. I'm sure you see a lot of clients that come in when they're in that big change, especially females in the big change of like menopause and how their body's changing, and how their desires change, or men when their testosterone drops and how they want to connect and they're having trouble connecting. Is that accurate for like a good portion of the people that come to you, or is there lots of different things?
Well, it's any ages these days that, I've seen 30-year-old dudes that are like, I don't have any libido, and I don't want to have sex. And why is this, right? And what's going on? I've had a lot of late life virgins. I'm only using that word because it's their term, but it's really not. Those who haven't had intercourse even in their 40s, or one almost 60-year-old man.
Wow.
Yeah, and now he's happily married after he did my program.
Nice.
Yeah, I took him through how to date, how to understand women, got him the best sex and relationship education. So he was like out the gate, able to create, amazing new relationship, and is happily married. So anyways, we have lots of success stories like that. But yes, and the sex education is so based on just male ejaculation, right? And female clitoral experiences. Well, I'm sorry, that's like kindergarten. What I teach is like PhD level, okay? And the orgasms and sex you should be having, if you choose to have it, right? I'll work with people that don't want to have sex. You want to sit and meditate and work with we can not even call it sexual energy if that's uncomfortable for you, but in general, we're just working with energy here, and we have to run it through the whole body, which means the lower parts too, the whole body. And there
Mm-hmm.
are no lower parts or higher parts in terms of a
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy of things, right? So yeah, there's a lot that goes on, and that's why I do what's called erotic detective work. We look at, again, the whole picture
Mm-hmm.
as to what are the traumas behind things, what is your birth scenario, what's your relationship history, what's your health history, what's going on in the body now, what's in all these things that could be impacting you,
Mm-hmm.
and unraveling, how to get them feeling better and having healthier, naturally arising libido. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I support a lot of different fun products, but they're all natural products. I'm really into, that's just personally, and you can come to me and be like, I don't like that. That's bullshit. I want to take
Mm-hmm.
as many chemical drugs that my doctor, or whatever my doctor gives me, I'm going to do. That's fine. I'll teach you other things, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do that. But I will give recommendations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because just as an example, right, I have a client who was like, I have very few health issues, but I have these cramps in my legs at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ongoing. And I'm like, well, you know what? You're probably deficient in magnesium. Most
Mm-hmm.
people are. Here's a
Mm-hmm.
magnesium product I recommend. He's like, that was amazing. My cramps are completely gone. I
Mm-hmm.
had them for years. Why didn't my doctor tell me
Mm-hmm.
to take magnesium?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not where their education is
Mm-hmm.
focused, and you can't make a lot of money off of telling someone to buy that.
Yeah, because it's not patentable, because it's just it's a nutrient, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, did that answer that question? I very, again, like how my brain and consciousness works is in different levels of
Mm-hmm.
awareness all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
can be like really laser focused, and then I can be like,
Be very diffuse. Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a female in perimenopause. So that's also contributing to the to
Yeah.
be more diffused than
Yeah.
like.
So I had asked if like the majority of a lot of people you see, the types of things that they come to you for.
Yeah.
So a lot of people coming in like transitional periods of their physical body or in relationships or,
Yeah, both.
yeah.
It's really hard to give, like, it's not an ideal client that I have. It's not a certain age. It's been all around just people that actually realize that either they have challenges or they just want more. I've had couples come in here and they're like, we've been together 30 years. We love each other. We love our kids. We're almost empty nested. It's going to be awesome. Now we have sex all the time. We just want more. Like, great. Your program is going to be advanced of more, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have to do all this other basic foundational relationship work because their relationship already works beautifully. We're just adding to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of people that come in fear of actually exploring, these pieces of themselves? And how do you address that if they do?
Yeah, I do actually. Well, everybody has expansion and then contraction. And that's part of what I expect in the program and what I will naturally help people through, right? Because every time we're going into more expansion, guess what? More traumas are going to come up, more things happen, right? It's a natural way of living in a world that is about polarity. In breath, out breath, right? So I provide all my clients, actually, my programs are very extensive, but it's because I am your number one cheerleader and guide that is like, you're getting VIP status. You have put into that program that you can text or email me anytime. And I generally respond pretty quickly. If not, it's no later than 24 hours. And that's to ask any question, celebrate wins. If they have a challenge they need to get on the phone with me for, sure, let's do that. Let's do virtual, right? I am just, so when people have any contractions or things going on, I'm right there for them. right? Let's catch this right now. What do we need here? What do we need to do? With that said, there are just some people. Recently, I had a female sign up for a program with me. I usually have my programs paid for up front. She asked for a payment plan. I generously offered her a nice payment plan and so forth. We got into the program and she decided, totally out of integrity, to just quit and break our contract. And the reason was, well, I don't have a partner. But when she came into the program, she didn't have a partner. We're only 3 months into the program. She hasn't even taken any of my dating advice yet or showed me her profiles or any of the things we were supposed to be doing, including healing any past relationships, and she's still not divorced, right? So it's really, but I offered, more support. I offered more reasoning of where we were going and so forth. But I think there are people that don't want to do any of this work, right? They want you to take care of it for them, or there's just certain ways that people operate. And I realized, well, this is detrimental to my business, but I did make these offerings and tried to contribute to this person, but this, is what it is, right? And it's so rare so rare that I get that type of experience, thankfully. But you can't, what's this, and I actually remember a friend telling me this quote in terms of, I was trying to heal my relationship with my mother consistently for a long time. And that's just, there are some people that things just don't happen that way with. And so you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. There you go, right? So,
and if they're truly meant to work with you, they will come back on their own and they will recommit to a level that you feel comfortable in accepting them back, if that's the case.
Right.
But sometimes, just like in therapy with me too, when I ask people to start looking into some really challenging areas or doing, the homework, the assignments, and there's some resistance there, they're not holding themselves accountable, then sometimes they don't come back because they don't want to be held accountable. They're not actually ready for change.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
majority, about 90% of my clients come back and do more programs, right? They're like, well, my program's up now. What can you create for me next?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go, right?
And it's great to have more people out there, especially in the holistic realm, that are very solution focused, because a lot of people are looking for tools and strategies and who actually are wanting to learn more. And when they come to somebody that's just going to listen to them tell stories, it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't really help and move the needle at all. So it's wonderful that you offer so many different types of things for clients.
And that comes back to just quickly my personal healing journey. I was in therapy from the time that I was 12 years old until I was late 20s. And I mean, weekly, right? I did every type of therapy, but it was I could see that it was the actual touch and the energy work and the other types of healing that was creating healing, rather than repeating my stories every week, talking about my traumas and just going even further down a tunnel of darkness with that without anything changing, right? That's not to put therapy down, of course, traditional therapy or otherwise.
Talk therapy, in my opinion, does not do that much.
Yeah.
And I'm a therapist. You need more incorporation of other things.
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone. I would say what it did for me was that when I was extremely alone, had no parents that were safe, my dad was dead, right? My mother was not safe. Didn't have any family, essentially. Totally really on my own. Talk therapy helped me feel like I had someone, right? That could hold a container, and at least I could talk to, that wasn't like my 20-year-old friends that did no shit and we're all messed up too.
Yeah.
So it can have its benefits that way for sure.
Yeah.
Different contexts, but yeah.
So we have about 10-ish minutes left.
Great.
Is there anything else that you feel like we should cover on this introductory piece with you that you haven't mentioned yet?
For sure. Let me just see what comes to mind first is that my programs all include anything that's a deeper program with me is going to include an extra program, which is essentially a lifetime membership, premium membership to my teacher Jaya, who created the erotic blueprints. If people are interested in learning more about the erotic blueprints, please go to my website, secrettemplearts.com. You can see that there are erotic blueprints there. There's a quiz. There's explanations about it. I offer the free call, but also there is a Netflix series featuring Jaya as well as Tantra and other types of work I do called Sex, Love, and the Goop that you might want to check out as well. Anyways, what I want is my clients to be set up for a lifetime of the best sex and relationship education, whether they're not going to continue to hire me forever, most likely, right? So when you leave any program with me, you have access ongoing to hundreds of classes, not just blueprint focused, sex and excellent, highest level, sex and education and relationship, not only classes, but also a community. You can be anonymous on if you're more comfortable with that, but a community as well as other master live coaches that are certified as Jaya's master coaches that specifically teach the blueprints, live calls, ongoing opportunities to take new classes and so forth. So that's one of the things that I roll into my beautifully designed programs of what you get. What else can I share? I mean, I think I covered a lot about the healing arts. I'm wondering if there's any I missed about it.
I was just curious if you do. So for somebody who maybe is on the fence, hesitant about, doing a program because they're not sure if they're ready to commit fully, so on and so forth. Do you do any sort of intro type of session where they could meet with you one time, even if it's just virtually for whatever fee that might be? Yeah. Where people can get kind of like a test of kind of the interaction before they sign up for a full program.
Yes, I do that. Yeah.
Great.
I do it more rarely because people get the 45-minute free consultation with me, and then they're usually ready to invest in a program, and they know that if they're going to make an investment, they're going to make an investment. It's going to be a significant. I do work with people on payment plans, as I said before, and that type of thing, but generally speaking, my coaching programs are like 4K and up. And that includes Jaya's program, which is already a 2K program. So you're getting that in any of these as well. But I do offer that. Yeah. And I also, sometimes I'll get somebody that just wants to do healing arts type of thing of or clients will adjunct. They'll go, oh my God, I love that access session. But I don't want to put that into my best sex and love life sessions is what I call them, right? So instead, they do a separate program.
Like an a la carte type of thing?
A la carte. That's exactly what I call it. So they'll do 5 access, or they'll just say, add 5 healing art sessions. I'm going to come for an access session. I'm going to come for an energetic facelift. I'm going to come for the aroma touch, right? These types of things.
Yeah.
My partner, Steve, and I are also now offering couples energy and body work sessions, 3 hours, when he has time and is available to work with me. We currently do not live in the same location, sadly. We plan to, but it's not happened yet. So he... again, he's a master healer of massage and oils, has a biomat that we put the clients on, do all kinds of different types of work. So that's a new expansion as well. And that is not in the programs. It's an a la carte experience to sign up for one of those.
Gotcha. And so people can sign up for like an a la carte healing session. That's just the other healing arts that you do. Even just to get to know you a little bit better, or feel comfortable with you type of thing before they even, talk about the other stuff potentially.
Yep. Sometimes somebody is having an entity issue and they realize, oh, she does entity communication work. I'll do a 2-hour virtual session just on clearing. And my personally, what I do is I give you an entity education so that you learn ongoing how to deal with entities in your life, not just like, let me clear them for you and then you feel better and then they all go, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. So again, empowering other people to take care of themselves so that they're not relying on another guru or somebody else to take care of them, because we are all in need of being our own guru.
Right.
Great.
Actually, I lied. I do have a guru. I have a cat. That's right.
I was going to say, I know there is a cat energy involved in this moment.
She's sleeping right over there.
Hi,
That's my guru.
That's so funny.
She's also the therapy cat, so if you are allergic to cats, I will keep her out of the office. But generally speaking, my clients love to have Lily come up and give them a hug and comfort them and bring more pleasure to the experience as well.
Nice. Oh, excuse me.
Anything else we missed? I'm going to take this.
Think.
Again, everything is really pleasure based with me. With the work, this isn't Tony Robbins boot camp, right? I'm not going to make you walk across on goals. That's not what we're doing here. We're doing pleasure as embodied pleasure as a way of living and creating a more orgasmic life and an experience overall, right? So more orgasms in the body, but having greater libido and more connection to everything and just having greater vision for your life, right? What does your best sex and love life look like, right? People look at what are you doing for your career? What are you doing here? Well, what are you doing for your intimate life? What do you want it to look like now and when you're 80, right?
And as far as pleasure goes, for people who have pleasure blocks, I'm assuming you also work with that.
Yeah, all the time. It's great. But we all, you know what? I have pleasure ceilings still. I have places that like once they get blown through, it's like, what? This is even more? More? How could it be? There's even more. I just had a 3-4 minute cervical orgasm. What?
Wow.
Right? There's always more. And I'm here to get you the more.
Yeah. So if you come in shut down, that's not something that can't be fixed. Because a lot of people have this perception that, oh, I'm broken. Like I don't work anymore. And that clearly doesn't sound like that's the case.
It's never the case. You're not broken. You're never as messed up as you think you are. And I've had lots of female clients that were anorgasmic, never had an orgasm, didn't know what that felt like they never could, in their 50s or 60s. This is just all rewiring of the body to create the right energy pathways and connection, and anything that needs to be cleared psychologically, where every woman is capable, every man, every woman is capable of at least 20 different types of orgasms that I teach.
Wow.
So, and I actually believe that there's an infinite number of orgasms that you can have. So we teach the main big ones, but we teach all of the other ways too.
Yep. And for those who are like 20 orgasms, what are they? We will be talking about that at another future episode. So make sure that you follow up with the next ones, after this with Sasha and talking about the different types of orgasms, because we will get into those. But to wrap up, I would love for you, I ask everybody this question. What would you like to see your business? Where would you like to see your business in 5 years?
I get so turned on with this question. I love it. I'm a visionary, and so I know exactly where I want to see my business in 5 years. In 5 years, I want to be living in southern New Hampshire, maybe a second house in Florida with my partner, Steve. We want to have a spa-like type small VIP experience for our clients where you come for your immersions, saltwater pool, saunas, all types of new healing tech that I'm really into that I just haven't been able to afford yet that must come my way at some point. Really getting a luxury high-end experience in the sacred temple arts. And then it'll just be 10 times greater because I'll be working with Steve. We'll be combining our different types of modalities. We'll provide live demos. We'll be doing numerous newer modalities as well, including he'll probably be doing scar tissue remediation. We're going to do some pretty amazing things. We might teach some classes again, very small ones, especially Tantra ones with live demos for those that are really interested in getting an intimate, private, luxurious, safe, consensual experience. All of it will be very small and mostly private one-on-one individuals because I'm actually more introverted as a being, and I love working deeply with individuals and couples. I don't enjoy teaching big classes and things anymore so much. It's just not I want to keep the container and the strength, the going deep with each person rather than more than that. So, yep, that is what it's good. And I'll be continuing to have more new types of orgasms, to teach new things, right? Oh, and my property will have a room. Our home property will have a room for each blueprint. So when we talk about the blueprints more, essentially, we'll have a room that's energetic with all crystals and beautiful like energy type of things and feelings. A sensual room that feeds the senses in every way, erotically and otherwise for both of these. And then we'll have a sexual room with a sex swing and all of every type of sex toys and all the sexual blueprint. And then we'll have sex furniture in there. And then, we'll have a dungeon, our own personal kinky blueprint. And then the fifth blueprint which is me and my partner. We just go from each room back and forth to all the different energies we want all night long or all day. That's the shapeshifter. It likes it all and more.
Sounds like a really expansive vision that you have for your business.
If anyone wants to be a benefactor or donate to this cause, just let us know.
Absolutely.
We're open to receiving from the universe in many ways.
Nice. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming on and talking about Sacred Temple Arts and your background and giving a wealth of knowledge to people who've never heard of you, who may be interested in the type of stuff that you do because they haven't heard of anybody else who's doing this stuff. So I appreciate your time, and we will see you at the next episode, and we will explore even more stuff that's all juicy. So the next episodes will be a little bit more explicit, so make sure that you are prepared to hear all those nitty-gritty details that people may not hear in the average mainstream, but that's exactly where Sasha specializes, to make sure that you are as informed as you can be. So thank you very much, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. And make sure to like and share and subscribe to this channel and this video. Share it with anybody that you think needs to hear it, and so they know how to contact Sasha. Oh, lastly, how do people contact you?
Through my website. Social media is not my place. You're not going to find much for me on social media. I do have a YouTube channel with lots of great videos. But you're going to want to go to my website, sacredtemplearts.com. And also you can contact me through there to set up a complimentary consultation. There's lots of information and free resources there. You could also text, if you use that more easily, 978-309-9399. And then I can give you my email from there if you would like that as well, the business email. So those are really the best ways. Thank you so much. And don't forget to do your home play, Kerri.
Will do. Thank you, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe this video for more information coming up. You won't want to miss Sasha's upcoming episodes. Have a great day and take care from the Holistikal podcast.
Thanks.